Well, welcome everyone to our special seminar here with Robert Kennedy the third. We're glad to have him. When we were putting together our Think and Grow seminar series here at CCBC Center for Business Innovation, we were talking about what are some of the things that people are really wrestling with right now. And with so many people caught up in the pandemic, businesses closed, trying to find alternative ways to communicate with prospects, get their message out there. Digital communication has become huge. And we are really excited to have Robert Kennedy III here this evening to share his advice on how to book more business online, whether it's in Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. He'll give you the secrets that you need to get your message across in a very powerful way for digital storytelling. We have a couple things going on that we want to tell you about with the Center for Business Innovation. Before we get started, we have our annual business plan competition. It's every year we do this at this time of year, and several people here on the seminar tonight are participants in past years. Glad to have them back. But we have our business plan competition coming up. If you intend to participate, we'd love to have you. The deadline to participate is coming up. It is Sunday night. So if you are planning to participate, be sure to get your intent to participate registration in by Sunday evening. That is the deadline. Business plan competition, each year we give away $62,500 to help people start their businesses. So if you are a CCBC student, you're an alumni, you are eligible to participate in our annual business plan competition. But if you're planning to participate, you must submit your intent to participate registration by Sunday night. For more details, please go to ccbcmd.edu/innovation that you see on the screen there. We are also going to be doing another Think and Grow seminar series on November 10th. We're bringing back some of our past winners from the business plan competition to share what it is that they're doing to pivot, to adapt during this pandemic. They got some pretty powerful stories to share with you that I think you'll also be able to learn more from about how to adapt, how to make the changes in this these dramatic times that we're in right now. And we have something special for you, and that is our Be More Bold Business Plan Business Conference and Expo. It's coming up. Just go to BeMoreBold.com, and there's lots of information. We just signed former GM of the Ravens, Ozzie Newsome, who will be our keynote speaker for that, and that'll be June 12th of 2021. There'll be a virtual event, and excited to have him with us. We're also going to have some of the area's top-notch speakers sharing best practices, what's working, so that you can grow your business. And Robert Kennedy III will also be one of our speakers for that event on June 12th. Go to BeMoreBold.com. It's the Baltimore Business Conference and Expo, sponsored by CCBC's Center for Business Innovation. Be More Bold, check it out. I think you'll love it. All right, well, we got an exciting program here for you tonight with Robert Kennedy III, and we're so excited to have him because he has some terrific information to share with you. Robert Kennedy III is president of Kinetic Communications, a minority-owned training firm. As you will see in just a moment, he has been called a dynamic leadership communicator. But at his core, he is a teacher and a trainer. He is here to challenge you to create a bigger future for yourself. Clients include the Social Security Administration, U.S. Coast Guard, Barnes & Noble, Panda Restaurant, and many, many more. With almost 2 decades experience as an educator, radio and media announcer, entrepreneur, and workshop facilitator, Robert is on a mission to equip 1 million leaders with the ability to impact, influence, and inspire through communication and storytelling. So without further ado, Robert, I'm going to turn it over to you. with a press of a button here. And bear with me. Where did you go in my list here? There you are. So Robert, making you host so you can take this over and share with us all your terrific ideas.
If you're happy and you know, wave your hands in the air like you just don't care.
Everybody liquored, coffeeed up, ready to go.
Good looking people in the room say, yeah. Yeah. I want you to say, I'm built to make a difference. Come on, say that. I'm built to make a difference. All right.
I don't know if you guys are ready to have a little bit of fun. I like to have a little bit of energy in the room before I get started because it is nighttime. Y'all have dedicated yourselves so much to your business that you've decided to come in and put some time in for an hour or so tonight. So I want you to wave your hands really quickly, just like left to right, like this, like this, like this. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Daya. Thank you, Jacqueline. I know you're not on camera, Jacqueline, but I know that you're waving your hands right now. Thank you. I appreciate you. Steven Sadler, what's happening? Maureen, I see you smiling. Hey, Gloria Handy, hoo-hoo. James Bryant, Jennifer Halsey, Ignacio Carr, what's happening? Angela, are you dancing, Angela? Come on, let me get a little bit of shoulder in there. There we go. Jason Whiting, what's happening? Michael Sansosti. Hey, Joe Feldman, come on. I like you guys. I like you guys, and I'm going to fade my music out so that we can get started this evening. Listen, I just wanted to say welcome to this session. I want to, in case you haven't gotten it yet, I like to enjoy stuff. I like to have a little bit of fun. As a matter of fact, do me a favor. Go ahead and pop in the chat for me. Where are you logging in from? Not just Baltimore, Maryland, not just Maryland, but specifically where? Are you in Fells Point? Are you in like on the Hill somewhere? Are you in Columbia, Maryland? Davon is in Columbia, Maryland. Jacqueline's Middle River, love it. West Baltimore. All right, West Baltimore, born and raised in the playground. No, that's the wrong city, isn't it? All right, Sykesville, Kingsville, Owings Mills, Whitehall, Parkville, Nottingham, Gina, love it. East Baltimore, Arnold, hey, Bill Osborne, come on. All right, Timonium, Dundalk, Perry Hall, White Marsh, Windsor Mill. You know what? I didn't put my stuff in there. Let me make sure that everybody knows where I'm logging in from. I'm logging in from, boom. Let's see if I can spell it right, actually. I'm logging in from Beltsville, Maryland. Beltsville, Maryland. So I just wanted to share with you this evening. How to connect in business and how to book more business through storytelling. Now, in case you didn't know it, there's a reason why I just had you put in the chat where you're from. And I've shared with you where I'm from. And one of the big things that happens is that a lot of people speak and a lot of people go online and they go virtual and they go into live streaming and they create content online and it falls flat because there's some stuff that they're missing. And the big thing that they're missing is connection. So let's talk about that this evening. And I want to share with you a little bit about me first. So here's what I want to share with you. When I was about 8 years old, I didn't know how to ride a bicycle. And I decided one day that I wanted to learn how to ride a bicycle. So I was at a friend's house. I lived in Montreal, Canada at the time. Yeah, Quebecois. That's me. I was a little kid and I learned a little bit of French. My daddy was a minister, and so he was going to school at McGill University, and he wanted to finish his master's degree at McGill University. And so he finished his semester, or he finished his year, and they went back to New York. And they left me in Montreal, Canada with some friends for a little bit. And so this particular day, I decided that I wanted to learn how to ride a bicycle. Now, we were 8 years old, and I said to my friend, how do you ride bicycles? How do you learn how to ride a bicycle? And my friend said to me, look outside. You see those kids out there? That's how you learn how to ride. And I looked out the window, and I saw some kids on their bicycles, but they had parents pushing them. Now, of course, we were home alone. It was me, my friend, we're both 8 years old, and his sister, who was 9. This was back in the day when you could leave 8 and 9-year-olds home alone by themselves and not have any legal repercussions. Right? So we were home, and I said, I want to learn how to ride a bicycle. He said, we don't have our parents here. I said, I want to learn how to ride a bicycle. So we went outside. He took his bike out of the garage, and he took off. The only other bike there was his sister's bike, and so I took that bike. And, of course, I go on the road, and I'm trying to follow him, and I put my leg over the bike, and I start to pedal, and, of course, I fall on the ground. I pick up the bike, and I put my foot on the pedal, try to do just like what I saw him doing, and I fall on the ground again. I try it one more time, and I fall on the ground, and I decide this is not working. So I notice that his driveway was a decline down into a garage, which was underneath the house. So I decided that I was going to take the bike over to that driveway, and I allowed it to coast down the driveway into the garage. And I discovered that as I did that, I could keep my balance a bit easier. So I coasted into the garage, and then I took it back up to the top of the driveway, and I coasted into the garage again, and then I took it back up to the driveway, and I coasted. Rachel said, that sucks. Yeah, I coasted into the garage again, and after a few times through, I put my feet on the pedals, and I started to pick up a little speed going down the hill, and coasted into the garage, and started to turn, and I coasted, and I did this over and over again for about 30 minutes, and after about 30 minutes, I felt like I was comfortable enough to get out of that garage and come out onto the street. So I take the bike out onto the street, and I had felt like I was able to balance a bit. So I put my leg over the center bar, and I put my foot on one of the pedals, and I take off, and I start to ride. And I'm a little bit wobbly. I'm not straight. I'm a little bit wobbly, but I'm not falling, and I'm riding. But I'm saying this is not how it's supposed to be. I want to ride a little bit more confidently. So I noticed that at the end of the street, there was a hill. And so I take the bike over to the top of the hill, and I perch the bike at the top of the hill, and I start to let the bike coast down the hill. And I put my foot on the pedals, and the bike starts to coast down the hill, and I'm turning the pedals, and the bike is going, okay, and this feels a lot better. This feels a lot more confident. The wind going through whatever hair I had at the time, a little bit different than now, and I'm riding down the hill, and the bike starts to pick up speed. And the pedals start to turn just a little bit faster, and they start to turn a bit faster, and the pedals start to turn a bit faster, and pretty soon they're going so fast that my feet cannot keep up with the speed of the pedals, and the pedals are turning pretty quick. And so I take my feet and I spread them out on the side, and this bike is going down the hill, and I cannot catch up with the speed of the pedals. And oh, by the way, there's an intersection coming up down at the bottom of the hill, and I'm getting closer and closer to this intersection. And as I get closer and closer to this intersection, I realize there was this one skill that I forgot to teach myself in the driveway: braking. I forgot to teach myself how to stop the bike. So this intersection is coming up, and this bike is a runaway train. It's going down the hill. It's going down the hill. And just before we get to the intersection, I look over on my left, and there's this lawn, and I see the lawn, and so I take the bike, and I know how to turn. So I turn the bike towards the lawn, and I get to the lawn, and the bike flies onto the lawn, and I throw the bike, and I'm sliding through grass and dirt, and there's a fence, and the bike hits the fence, and I get up, and there's mud, and there's dirt, and there's stuff all over my face. But I stand up, and I'm like, yeah, like Rocky, right? And my friend's at the top of the hill, and he's looking down at me like the Home Alone face. Oh no, right? And he's looking at me, and I've got my hands raised because I rode my bike. I rode my bike down the hill, and I lived. I made it. I was able to tell somebody about it. Has anybody had an experience similar to that? Has anybody had an experience where somebody told you something? They told you this was the only way to do something, and you said, no, I'm not going to do it that way, and I want to do it another way. Have you ever had an experience where you tried to do something and it got a little bit out of control? right? You terrified. Rachel says, I tried to brake in the middle of the hill when I was traveling so fast on my scooter that you banged up your knees. Yeah, Jacqueline's had this experience. A lot of us have had this experience. Now, I tell you this story at the beginning in addition to asking where you're from for a specific reason. The reason that I tell you this story is because sometimes you want to be able to connect with people, right? And here's the point that I want to make. I tell you a story about bicycle riding, but there are so many lessons that I pull out of it. You don't have to believe everything that people tell you. Right? Is that common to anybody? Does anybody resonate with that statement? You don't have to believe everything that people tell you. Let's go with another lesson. Sometimes you're going to have to figure out a way, and you may not even be sure how you came up with the answer. Right? Does anybody resonate with that? Go ahead and say yes if you resonate that. Type that in the chat. Gina says, I agree. Type yes if that resonates with you. Let's go with another one. Let's go with a third point. Okay? Sometimes things are going to go faster than you expected. So here's what you do. Hold on to the steering wheel and look for the lawns, a safe space to crash land. Does that resonate with you? Have you ever seen that? Has that ever happened with you? Yeah. Right? All right. Let's go to another one. Sometimes you think you have it under control, but then your feet fly off the pedals. Project deadlines go awry and you have a potential crash intersection upcoming. Does that sound familiar to anybody? You thought you had it under control. You put all the resources in place. You put all of the capital, all of the people in the right place. You delegated. You did everything that you needed to do, but still, you got a crash that's coming up. Let's look at another one. Even when you crash, and here's another point. Here's the last point that I want to make about this story. Even when you crash, look for the celebrations. What went well? What did you do to overcome? And what did you conquer? Listen, I had dirt and mud and grass on my face, but I had my hands raised because in the middle of that crash, I found something to celebrate. And here's what happens with a lot of us. We end up crashing. We end up having things go off the rails. We end up having things go crazy, but we don't celebrate. We don't take time to look for the good inside of that, right? So today, we're going to talk about how you can use what I just did, storytelling, to help you book more clients and build more influence. In this session, we want to show you how you can spend less time preparing and more time influencing, because that's what you are. You're an influencer. I like to say every communication is an opportunity to influence. If you have a job, you're an influencer. If you've got a business, if you've got a product, if you've got a service, you're trying to influence people, right, Daya? Did I say that right? Is it Daya or Daya? Go ahead and come on audio and tell me how you pronounce your name. I want to hear it. I want to hear from your mouth.
It's Daya.
Daya, love it. Excellent, right? A lot of us are influencers. We've got business products. We've got services that we've got to sell. And if we're not able to influence people, we are going to be P-O, can't even afford the O-R. We are not going to be able to get people to move. We're influencers, and we got to think about ourselves in that way, right? So by the end of our time together, I'm going to share with you how you can use storytelling, especially on video. If you are online, to book more clients, make your life as a presenter, speaker, business owner much easier. So here's the thing. Here's what do most business owners do wrong? They do several things wrong, right? How many of you have ever been to that networking event? That event where you get to the networking event and you meet that guy, that gal, that person. You know who I'm talking about, the business card ninja. They don't really care about you. They just have a bunch of cards and they're like stars, right? They're throwing it at you and they're not even caring whether or not you listen. You know that person. I met that person. I've met that person several times. Right? And as a matter of fact, I've met that person so many times that I typically, from a lot of events, come back home and I got a bunch of cards this thick on my desk and I never do anything with them unless I have nothing to do. Then later on I say, you know what, let me try to email some of these people who now don't remember who the heck I am because it's been months. right? So you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the business card ninja. As a business owner, you don't want to punch people in the face with your product. You want to influence. As a business owner, you don't want to do what I call spray and pray. How many people know what that is? It's like the more people I contact, I'm going to just contact everybody. I'm going to send emails to everybody. I'm going to inbox everybody. I'm going to call everybody. The more people I contact, if you build it, they will come. The more people I contact, the more sales I'm going to make, right? Is that true? Some of you were like, listen, I contacted 2,000 people last year. I got 0. Right? So spray and pray doesn't work. But the biggest thing that I see is that a lot of business owners have no intentional plan for connection. Right? And one of the biggest ways, especially now, what do you think people are doing? People are, they're home during COVID. They're home during quarantine. So now some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this quarantine to be over so that I could get back to normal. Listen, as business owners, this is the best time for you. This is the time where you can connect with people because in some cases you've got rapt attention. They don't have certain things competing with them anymore. Do you think during the Great Depression in 1929 that business owners crossed their legs and said, oh my gosh, I can't wait till I get back to normal? Do you think in the pandemic in 1918 people said, you know what, I'm just going to not do anything. We're going to wait till it gets back to normal? Do you think real estate agents in 2008 when the bubble crashed, they said, you know what, I'm just going to sit at home and wait till it gets back to normal? No. They took advantage of the opportunities that were available to them at the time. So speak. Here's the thing. All right. This organization, Visual Objects, they did a social media survey, and they found that 40 or more than a third of businesses, almost 40% of businesses don't use social media. Wow. And here's the thing. The other 63% that do, a good portion of them, they ain't doing it right. Right? Let's look at something else. Outbound Engine. They did a study, and so of those that do use social media, 25% of them are not sure about how they plan to grow their businesses. 55% of those small business owners spend less than 5% of their annual revenue on marketing. 58% of those small business owners spend 5 hours or less on marketing every week. 86% of those respondents would rather spend their time on other business activities than spending time on marketing. So listen, we got 63% of these people on social media, but the majority of them are not doing with what they need to do with it. So what's the result? What's the result for your business? And how do you turn the corner? How do you make a difference? You got to make a difference by connecting, right? So this is me. Dennis told you a little bit about me, but that's just kind of the professional me. Here's the real me. I'm this dude that was born in Jamaica. I was born on the island of Jamaica. Ooh, yeah, one love, one. Yeah, there you go. You got it. I was born on the island of Jamaica, but born and bred and grew up in the Boogie Down Bronx, right? So that's me, and I'll share it with you in a second why I'm sharing this with you. Who am I? I'm Jamaican-born, Bronx-bred. I was a science teacher for 10 years, right? I was a news anchor. Are you shocked, Angela? I was a news anchor on a radio station, an AM radio station in Massachusetts for a little while. My first business that I started was a gospel music promotions website called k3music.com. We were the 3rd ranked in the nation in our genre. Right? I added a radio station to our gospel music interview and promotions. Had no doggone idea what I was doing. Right? No idea. Right? I had music artists that came to me and they didn't have websites. So I said, ding, 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 business idea. Let's start a web development company. So I did that. That was my second business. All right. And then I moved into the training instructional design space for a little while. I was developing online courses. And so now I'm at the place where I speak, I train, I'm a communications trainer. That's me in a nutshell. Right? Let me share a little bit more about you. These four handsome gentlemen on the left-hand side. Check it out. 2007, 13 years ago. That gentleman on the left, on your left, the left side of your screen, the white shirt. That's my grandfather. He passed away last year at 104 years old. Yeah. Ooh, listen, I like to say after 75, you're on bonus time. So we had him for a little while. We had some bonus, right? So that's my grandfather, Robert the First. The guy on the right beside me is my dad, Robert the Second. This is me in the blue shirt, Robert the Third. And that dude hustling in my arms, he's 14 now. He's Robert the Fourth. Right? Beside that, I've got my wife, Nadia, my daughter, Brittany, Robert the Fourth in the orange shirt, and Jaden, right? Why am I sharing this with you? Why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing this with you, number one, so that you can know who I am. Number two, that you can know what's important to me. Number three, that you can understand who I care about, what I care about, and why I do what I do. Right? So if I go to this business event, if I go to a networking event, I want to be able to share a story. I want to be able to share with them a little bit about me. I want to be able to connect with them. I'm sure you've heard it in some of your other sessions. People do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? But that's the thing. A lot of us as business owners, people don't know us. And we put a wall between us and them. People don't buy your products. People buy why. People buy why you do what you do, and then they also buy, they are connected to WeFM. What's in it for me? How do I know that people try to find out what's in it for them? I know this because when you buy a product on Amazon, what do? Do you just pick it up? Nah. you check the reviews, right? You check the reviews. You ask a friend what's happening. You ask your friend what do they think about it. You do research, right? If you need a car, you're saying, listen, I need to go from point A to point B. I need to go to my business. I need to go to work. Do you go and pick up the first car that you see? No, you don't pick up the first car that you see. So why is it that a lot of us expect that people are going to buy from the first business that they see? We don't market, we don't share, we don't connect, we don't create visibility for ourselves in the marketplace because we've bought into that if you build it, they will come idea. That's just not how people operate. People ask questions and they find reviews. They want to know if it's 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. Are there complaints? They want to know all of this stuff, right? But there's so many pieces of information out there that the way that people navigate through information is that they navigate through the ones that connect with them the most. So how do you connect with them? You connect with them through storytelling. You connect with them through storytelling. Storytelling is the most powerful way for you to communicate. It's the most powerful way for you to communicate. Think about it. If you've ever heard, we've communicated the same way for thousands of years, right? Around the dinner table, Thanksgiving, we tell stories, right? We tell stories at bedtime stories. We tell stories around the campfire. It's why social media works, right? We're looking at people's pictures. We're looking at people's stuff. We're looking at where they are. We're following the stories that they're telling. You're on Facebook, you're following their stories. Instagram, you're following their stories. LinkedIn, you're following their business stories. You're following all of these different things. Snapchat, TikTok, y'all, who's on TikTok? Who's on TikTok? Who's on TikTok? I'm not on TikTok. My daughter's on TikTok. They will be mad if I get on TikTok. Right? My dad, Angela says, not me. Not me, right? But TikTok, if you look at TikTok, TikTok is a storytelling platform. Right? All of these platforms are storytelling platforms. And the reason that they're storytelling platforms is because storytelling is the most powerful way to communicate. But here's what happens. Here's what complicates it further. A lot of us don't know how to tell stories effectively. And so we just become a part of the noise on social media. Why do I need to tell stories, and why do I need to be able to do it online, and why do I need to be able to do it on video? Here's the deal. Storytelling, especially on video and live stream, is the quickest way to connect with your audience in real time. It's the quickest way to connect with your audience in real time. If you're doing it right, if you can make money doing this, right? According to Nielsen, U.S. adults spend 6 hours a day watching video, and I'm not talking about TV. I'm not talking about TV. According to Forrester, users tend to watch live video 10 to 20 times longer than they do other types of video, right? So if you're not telling your story on live streams, guess what? Let me come off this so you can see my face. Point at it. If you're not live streaming, if you're not telling your story on video online, you are missing an opportunity. You're leaving money on the table. As a business owner, how many of you, go ahead and raise your hand if you are happy when you leave money on the table as a business owner? Okay, let me see. 1, 2, no hands, right? Rachel says you're too poor to own a smartphone. You never had a TikTok. Listen, Rachel, we're going to share with you how you can gain a little bit more business and share a little bit more. And this doesn't only have to be done via smartphone. This can be done via your desktop or any other device that you can live stream. Here's the thing. Why do I want to storytell? People are 22 times more likely to remember a fact if it's wrapped in a story. I could share with them a lot of stuff, but they're not going to remember it unless it's wrapped in a story. So here's where we get into the meat of this. And we're going to go a little bit fast. So I want you to pay attention to this, right? So when we talk about stories, a lot of times people think I'm talking about once upon a time, last week I experienced, my boyfriend, girlfriend made me feel. All right. I want to make a clarification here between story and story structure. All right. We're referring to the story of the structure of a story. And when you tell stories have certain elements. They have setting, character, conflict, and resolution. That's what stories are made up of. The setting of your story really brings your context. When I was a kid, my mom used to watch this show called Golden Girls. How many is anybody here on the show on this chat familiar with Golden Girls? Go ahead and type yes in the chat if you've seen Golden Girls or you know what I'm talking about, right? Or maybe you're only 19 years old, watch it on TV Land. Golden Girls, right? So Golden Girls, these 4 ladies in Miami, Florida, and there was a lady on the show. Her name was Sophia, and every time Sophia was ready to tell a story, she would say, "Picture it, Sicily, 1933," right? So she was telling you where the story was going to take place or where it took place, when it took place, and just giving you the location. She's giving you the context, right? That's how she started her stories. All right. Keisha says apparently they were only in their 40s. I don't know if they were in their 40s. Betty White was on that show. All right. So you need a setting. You need character. Here's why you need characters in your stories. People relate to their characters. People relate to people. So you need a character in your story. Conflict. Conflict is the tension. When you need tension in your stories, and you need your resolution. Your resolution ultimately is your service. A lot of times we start with the resolution and we just tell them about the product and the service, but we don't tell them about the why and how it relates to them. Let me share it with you a different way. When you use a story structure, you take your audience on a journey, right? And then that allows you set up a context. You address or you create a tension. You address a tension. Something's wrong in their space. Something's wrong in their life. You address that. Or they may not even know that something's wrong. And so you create a tension. You let them know, hey, this is something that's missing. And here's how this will fix it. You offer a solution. Let me share it with you a third way. Let me share it with you another way. You look at what's happening with them currently. You figure out what opportunities they are missing, or you highlight what opportunities they're missing because of their current state, and then you share how you can fix it. You've got to go. If you start out with, hey, I can fix this, they're like, you don't even know what the problem is. You don't even know what's wrong with me. You don't even know what I need, what I care about, what I like, what I'm passionate about, and yet here you are selling me this vacuum cleaner. I live in a house with hardwood floors. This ain't gonna work for me. I got marble floors. This vacuum cleaner ain't gonna work for me, right? So you want to create or use story structure when you are sharing information or creating content or selling. So here's Robert, or RK3, as I call myself. Yes, I call myself. All right. RK3's innovative math formula. Here it is. Here it is. No addition, no subtraction, no division, no multiplication, only equal signs. So you understand story structure. If you understand or are able to use story structure, that equals interest. Okay, you're able to grab people's interest. If you're able to grab people's interest, that equals influence. All right, and if you're able to influence people, that's going to equal sales. That's what it is. Story structure equals interest, equals influence, equals sales. How many of you are in business just because it's a hobby? Just because you're like, I just like doing this. I don't care if I make money ever. I don't want money. It's just, it's just cool. I want to be in business. Jacqueline's like, nope, nope, right? You're in business because you like doing what you do. You're passionate about it, but you're like, listen, if I'm going to spend this time, I'm going to need to make some money at this. I've got this house note. I got this apartment bill. I got this car note. I need some clothes. I need some clothes. Oh, we're in COVID. You don't need clothes. Oh, I need a mask. I need to pay for this mask. I need to get a mask that matches my t-shirt, right? I need to get something. So I need sales. I need money. I need something, right? Passion and for profit, says Maureen. Everybody just type for profit, right? Type for profit in the chat really quickly. Hold on one second. Let me play this for you really quickly, just so that y'all can see this. I want y'all to just wave your hands real quick for just a second. I didn't plan to do this, but because of what y'all said in the chat, let me do it this way. All right, here we go. Here we go. I know y'all like this. Here we go. For profit. Type for profit in the chat. Yes. Yes, I'm waving for profit. That's right. That's right. All right. All right. Let me fade this out and not play too long before I get in copyright trouble. Don't tell anybody. Shh. Shh. Don't tell anybody. All right. Cool. Let's go back. Awesome. So listen, set your story structure equals interest, equals influence, equals sales. So let me share this with you. You're like, Robert, you're telling me about stories. How do I tell stories? I don't even know how to tell stories. I don't know how to structure a story. Well, I'm glad you came, because that's what we're going to talk about. Here it is. Hold on one second. Let me give you a little bit of an introduction again. Let's do this. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. Here we go. Nope. All right, y'all are seeing my stuff. That's okay. That's okay. Here we go. This is what I wanted to play. Yep, you're like, Robert, you went through all of that for those 2 notes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I like having fun. All right, cool. Well, listen, here's what I need you to do. Here is how you structure stories for interest, for influence, and for sales online. All right? On social media, you want to be clear. CLEAR, C for connect, L for lesson, E for experience, A for action, and R for remind and reconnect. Let's walk through this and share with you how you can be clear, how you can structure your stories on social media to generate interest, create more visibility, book more business online. So the C is for connect. How do you grab their attention? Listen, again, if you have a business in this day and age and you are not using and leveraging social media, you're missing opportunities. You got to do it. Got to do it. How do you grab their attention? And here's what I want to do. I want to start their brains thinking. How many times have you seen a video online where somebody went on and they said, hey guys, I'm just going to jump on here for 2 minutes. And yeah. And you're like, okay, all right, get to it. Get to it. Get to it. What do you mean you're waiting for the audience to build? What do you mean? What do you mean? Get to it. I'm not going to stay here too long. I'm not going to stay. Put this in the chat. If you know how long you have to grab somebody's attention. How long do you have before people's attention is gone somewhere else? Go ahead and share with me in the chat. How long do you think it is? Because, okay, Jacqueline says 3 seconds. Dea says 2 seconds. Dea's like, yep, I know. 2 seconds, I'm out, right? Good. 5 seconds, says Kiera. All right. Devon says 13 seconds. Maureen says 30 seconds. Maureen, you are generous. You are very generous. Thank you for your generosity. I appreciate you. All right. You have between 3 and 8 seconds to grab their attention. Right? You got between 3 and 8 seconds to grab their attention. The typical commercial is 10 to 30 seconds, says Rachel. Yeah, and if the commercial doesn't grab your attention within the first 3, 4, 5 seconds, you're like, boom, I'm out. I love Geico. Geico makes the most awesome commercials to me. The camel commercial where it's like, it's Wednesday, Mike, what day is it? Hump day. I love it. That's one of my favorite ones, right? Because it starts and it gets my attention right from the beginning. Exactly. Boring commercials equal a bathroom break. You've got like 3 seconds. So how do you get people's attention online? How do you get people's attention? Rachel says flow's better. All right. Here's how you get people's attention, especially when you're on social media. You can use this in a written format, but it's even better when you're live streaming or on video. You want to ask a question, make a strong statement, or share an emotion. Here's why. Let's do some brain science for a second. Let's do some brain science. I was a science teacher for like 10 years. So let's do the brain science. When you ask a question, here's what happens. Your brain literally releases a chemical that causes the person to answer the question. We can't help it. That's how our brains are wired. There is a scientific process called instinctive elaboration, right? And when we ask questions, people can't help but answer it. They may not say it out their mouth, but your mind begins to answer the questions. Think about it. Have you ever heard a question that you didn't mentally try to answer? There it goes. Did you just answer my question in your mind? Yes, you did. You can't help it. That's how our minds are wired. So here's why you want to do that. You want to ask a question because when you ask the question, it takes the attention of the person off of you because now they go back into their minds and they begin to think about a story. They begin to create a video in their mind. They begin to see an image in their mind when you ask a question. Grab their attention by asking a question. Ask a question, make a statement, and then introduce yourself. Right? That's how you start to connect with people. Let's look to the L, all right? And I wish we could go deeper in this. We don't have all night, but I'm going to take you through at least the basics of this so that when you're done, you can go live or you can create a video tonight that is going to connect much better with your audience. Okay? The L stands for lesson. What's the lesson that you want them to take away? What's the lesson that you want them to take away? Okay? What is their struggle? What do you want them to learn? What's the one big thing you want them to know? What should they listen out for? What should they listen out for? All right, that's the L. You always want to have something right quickly in your video or your story so that people understand what's in store for them, what they're going to get, what's the benefit they're going to receive, how they can solve something quickly. Okay? Then you want to share an experience. Okay, yep, I'm telling you what you're going to learn, but how do I know it's real? How do I know it's successful? How do I know it actually happened? So you want to share with them your experience. Remember when we talked about you having a why in business? Dale, what's your business? What's the business that you're working on, that you're starting, that you're doing?
I make wigs.
Okay, you make wigs. Oh, I couldn't tell, right? Daya's hair is long and flowing and is beautiful, right? She's got some connection to hair, right? And I don't know the reason why, but I bet you if I talked to Daya for a little while, if I talked to her for 10 or 15 minutes, she would probably tell me there's a reason why she likes hair. For some people, it's maybe that they had an experience, a physical experience. I have a friend that they suffer from alopecia, and that's why they love wigs. And so they started a business doing that. Somebody in their family had cancer, and they had to walk through the process of looking polished, looking put together over an extended period. That's why they like hair or they like wigs. There's some hair reason for Daya, right? And so I bet you if Daya was to go online and share, hey, listen, y'all, I make wigs. people would say, that's nice. But if she went on and she said, listen, 5 years ago, I had this experience and I went through this and I noticed this and this is what happened. And because of that, I really became passionate about helping people see their own inner beauty through their hair. Right? So she's sharing an experience or she's sharing an example. It doesn't have to be her personally. She might be able to know another example that is related to the struggle of your audience. Right? So you share that experience. After you've shared the experience, and you want to do this as much as possible. You want to do this as much as possible. You want to practice the framework of storytelling. Your next step is action. You don't ever want to be online. You don't ever want to be in a space where you are sharing information, sharing a story, and you don't ever drive people to an action point. You've always, always, always got to have a call to action. You always got to have a call to action. Here's the reason why some people ain't buying from you. We didn't ask them. Right? We didn't ask them. We didn't tell them how. We didn't tell them where to go. We didn't tell them what to do. We didn't tell them what they need to do, what solution you're offering, and what they need to consider. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a hard sell. It might simply be, hey, y'all, join me again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I'm going to go live. It might simply be, hey, inbox me. I want to share this document with you. It might simply be, hey, share this live or share this video or share this content. It might simply be, send me an email. I'm trying to figure out how my audience is thinking, or fill out this survey. You've got to have a call to action in your stories always. Always. Right? And then after you give them a call to action, every successful YouTube video, maybe with the exception of like the Justin Bieber ones and all of the other ones that just have like dancing, they don't really have call to actions. Except, actually, that's not true. They have call to actions. They say subscribe. Subscribe to the channel for our next video. Right? You want to have a call to action. After you have that call to action, you want to remind your audience about the benefits of taking action. You want to remind them about how following your steps or your advice makes a difference. You want to remind them of the transformation that they will see or achieve. You want to remind them of how their lives are going to be so much better by taking action. And then you want to remind them again, reconnect with them to take action. Right? So when you go online, when you go on social media, you use a storytelling structure, use an online storytelling structure, and that is going to make a difference in how people respond to you, connect with you, right? Because you're going to be able to plant your flag in a specific way. They're going to know a little bit more about you more than just your product. They're going to know why you serve people in the way that you do. They're going to know why you're passionate about it. They're going to know that you are just like them and you pass through certain experiences too. And if you can pass through it, they can too. And here's how you can help them do that. Here's how a product does it. Right? You want to connect. You want to share the lesson that they're going to learn. You want to share an experience. You want to drive them or give them a call to action. And then you want to remind them of the benefits and reconnect with them in order to help them know and understand the difference that it's going to make in their business or in their lives, right? Remember, every communication is an opportunity to influence. Everything that comes out of your mouth, every email that you send, every status update, everything that you do online is an opportunity for you to influence and move people down the track. Move people from structure to interest to influence to sales. And this is how storytelling and story structure begins to move the needle in your business. And each of you can do this. Each of you can do this. You might feel like storytelling is hard. You might feel like, oh my gosh, Robert, you're talking about this. And it looks simple online, but I don't know how to do this. So here's what I want you to do. Here's the call to action that I want to make to you. I want you to connect with me on social media so that we can talk a little bit more about how storytelling can help make the difference in your business. Here's how to connect with me on social media. I'm everywhere. As Robert Kennedy 3. I'm on Instagram. Yeah, Robert Kennedy 3. Facebook, Robert Kennedy 3, or Robert Kennedy III on Facebook. Robert Kennedy 3 on LinkedIn. Can you sense a pattern here? I'm trying to make it easy for y'all. Robert Kennedy 3 on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter that much, but yeah, you want to reach me, connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook mostly. And I will respond to you. I do. I try to be a nice guy. I do. Right? But here's the reason I want to respond to you. Here's the reason that I want you to reach out, because I want to help you make a difference. The reason that you're in business, the reason that you're starting a business is not just because you want to make more money. It's not just because you saw this thing, you decided to give it a try. It's not just because you're looking to see if, you don't have enough things to do with your time and you just said you're going to try something different. You're in business. You're doing this because your goal is to make a difference in the life of someone else. Your goal is to provide transformation for somebody else. Your goal is to help somebody else have a more fulfilling life. You're creating wigs because you want somebody to feel beautiful. You're doing nails because you want somebody to feel sexy. You're fixing cars because you want somebody to be able to drive and transport themselves from place to place, right? You're helping people navigate and manage their social media because you want them to be able to manage their time better and make their lives easier. You're providing transformation. And that transformation just happens to be connected to sales. That transformation just happens to be connected to money. Don't shy away from the money, and don't shy away from your story, because your story is going to make a difference in the lives of people who come in contact with you, because every communication is an opportunity to influence. Let me ask you, do you have any questions?
Yes, I got a question.
Yeah.
When you first was, I just want to piggyback on when you first was talking about, you don't have to believe everything people tell you. Mm-hmm. And business-wise, people during the businesses, they definitely be trying to sell you short.
Yep.
So, like, when people, like, trying to sell you short as far as, like, business-wise, can you, like, when you're trying to build your platform as far as, like, anything, like, Rachel, she was saying, like, she liked to write and stuff. Mm-hmm. Let's say I'm selling my wigs and people aren't, like, really, buying them or, like, stuff like that. How do you build that? Like, how do you start from building, like, right there? Well, if you already have a social media platform.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. People don't just buy products because they have nothing better to do. They buy it because they connect with something. They vibe with something that you're saying. They like something that you have to offer. And it may not just be them. It may be somebody in their family, right? So maybe you're telling a story about somebody's aunt or somebody's grandmother, and you may not be asking them the question, are you suffering with this, or have you experienced this? You might be asking the question, do you know anyone that has gone through an experience similar to this? You're trying to be relatable to people, because when you relate to people, you connect with them, and then you connect with something, a need that they have. Again, remember, everybody's tuned into WeFM, right? What's in it for me? And they want to know that you understand something that's going on in their world. And when they know that you understand what's going on in their world, then they're more likely to come to you to fulfill the need or the service that they need. Right? So that's why you use storytelling, in order to really begin to differentiate yourself from all of the other noise that's out there. Be real. Be authentic. Talk about things that have happened to you and share why you do what you do.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome question. Anybody else?
Hi, this is Jacqueline. So I'm thinking that it's really necessary for us to hone in on our ideal customer or client and speak to that person
Yep.
And I think when we do that, all of the people who are not interested and would give us, I don't know, a pushback for what we're charging or whatever the case may be, will naturally fall away.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
To some extent, I do agree with it, and I think there's a little bit more to it. Here's what happens. A lot of times we hear in business, you got to find your target market. You got to identify your niche. You got to identify your target customer. And most people, especially when they're starting out, they don't know how to do that. It's hard for them. It's challenging for them. And so they go back to old school selling methods and knock their head against concrete because they're trying to make it work a certain way. And that's why those things that we talked about earlier with spray and pray and all of those different things, that's why there's so many business owners that are doing that. Right? Because they're struggling to identify a market. They're struggling to identify who they can serve or who they can help. So you need to do that. But on the journey, on the way there, you've got to begin sharing your why, sharing why you planted your flag, why you're passionate about certain things. And as you begin, see, stories are like magnets, right? The more that you begin to share stories, the more that you begin to be authentic and real, the more that people connect with what it is that you're saying. And they may not buy from you, but they may know somebody who has experienced the thing that you're talking about. And as you go through that journey, now you begin to weed some things out. Now you begin to see, and this is where analytics comes in. Now you begin to see who is more connecting with you, who's vibing with you, so that you can begin to now figure out who you should talk to more.
Okay.
That's where Facebook ads and Instagram ads and even LinkedIn ads and Google ads become useful, because now you've seen the demographics of the people that are listening to you, right?
Yeah.
Right. If you're on YouTube, YouTube is able to give you some of the demographics of who is listening to your content, or if you are starting to answer questions inside of your comments, you begin to get a sense of who the people are. Or if you're not sure, now you begin to create a survey and ask them who they are, but they will answer the survey if they vibe with you. If they don't know you and they don't care about you, they're not going to answer it.
I have I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm finished.
I was just going to say, I do know, I'm here in Baltimore, and there are two business women that I know. I'm not going to say their names. However, one of them sells hair, and they do sell wigs. And then the other young lady, she has a clothing shop where she sells clothing and things like that. What I find is the one lady that sells the clothes, I see her clothes in other places that are cheaper, but we buy from her because she sells who she is. Mm-hmm. Her personality, she has stories, she does affirmations like daily. She does different things. It could be the same outfit that you could probably find for $40 cheaper, but we buy into how she delivers it to us by her stories. Yeah. The young lady, the same deal with the lady with the hair. I definitely know that the hair, I've heard people say it's not even the best of the best, but they buy it because of the experience she presents on screen. She will just get on screen, and she may just be riding like in the neighborhood, and she'll have her wig on, and she'll talk about what she's wearing today. She'll ask ladies, what, because, you know, a lot of women will name their wigs and so on. Yeah. She'll say something like, I have this wig on, this short, and I call it the Dorothy Dandridge or whatever, right. You know, something cute she comes up with. But people, they gravitate to that because it makes it fun. So I think that finding whether it's a product or service, speaking to experiences we had, but also why maybe our product is different than another person's, why you should buy it from me. That storytelling, these are some great points you've made, because that storytelling is ideal, because I feel like most often we buy from the people we want to buy from, not necessarily always the product.
Yeah. Let me give you an example all of you are familiar with. If I ask you about iPods, right? Or if I ask you about MP3 players, the first company that you're going to tell me about is Apple. You're going to tell me about iPods, right? Here's the thing. Apple was not even the first company. They weren't the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th company to make an MP3 player. right? Here's what the other companies did. I know y'all remember you might remember the Microsoft Zune. It came in this ugly brown color. All right, the Microsoft Zune, there was like a iRiver, something another MP3. There was a bunch of other MP3 players. But here's what Apple did. Apple created commercials, or they created a plan that said, what would it be like if you could always have music next to you? Do you remember where you were when this song played? Do you remember where you were when that favorite love song played? Do you remember what was happening in your life when somebody just told me, Angela was saying that Eddie Van Halen died? Do you remember where you were when the first time you heard Jump? What would it be like if you could have all of those experiences in your pocket at the same time? What if every time you wanted to remember something or feel a certain way, you were able to pull that experience out of your pocket? Introducing the iPod. And oh, by the way, it fits in the palm of your hand and you can go around and access your music easily just simply using your thumb. Right? They tapped into an experience. They told a story. And the other MP3 players at the time simply said, hey, we're convenient, we're small, we put a bunch of songs in this thing, and if you buy it, you can have it for only, $99. Apple came out with an iPod that was like $200 and something, and people bought it.
Robert, this has been terrific. Lots of great advice. I know I'm going to remember clear. Several people have commented in the chat that this is exactly what they needed. Terrific job. Everybody give them a round of applause. This has been terrific. Lots of good advice. I know I would love to hear more. And Robert is absolutely right. We are experiencing a very challenging time for a lot of businesses, a lot of startups right now. But yes, we also have a lot of opportunity as well, more than many other businesses. And in fact, we are going to bring Robert back this summer in June, on June 12th, for our Be More Bold Business Conference and Expo. It is going to be virtual. We are doing a lot of cool things that we couldn't even do in person that we're going to be doing virtually. We're going to have Robert back and lots of other area speakers sharing best practices, what's working, especially as things are evolving, because you do have an opportunity right now and we want to help you get there. Be sure to go to our website, BeMoreBold.com, and just put in there, save the date, get on our mailing list, because when you do, you will get the biggest discount that we have to offer for our conference. We're also going to have Ozzie Newsome, former GM of the Ravens, who's going to be our keynote speaker. And we're excited to have Robert back to share even more with us on June 12th. And we're going to continue with our Think and Grow seminar series. And we're going to have even more to share there as well. We have our next conference coming up on November 2nd and November 10th. Thank you, Angela. November 10th, we'll be sharing that with some of our past winners from the business plan competition, entrepreneurs who have had to pivot, shift, adapt, and they're going to share their stories. I think you'll love it. And we have our business plan competition. I encourage you, if you have not already registered for that, to do that quickly so that we can then make sure that you get into the competition. So again, the deadline is Sunday night, October 11th. We have $62,500 that we are giving away to our top 6 winners in our business plan competition. And for more information about that, go to ccbcmd.edu/innovation. Robert, again, thank you. Outstanding job. Lots of terrific information that we can use. I know we're going to be using it here at Center for Business Innovation. I hope you will too. We are recording the seminar and we will be sending out the playback tomorrow so that you all have it. We look forward to working with you more, sharing more of these ideas. Again, check out Robert's social media pages. You can check him out online. He does a terrific job. Lots of good information to share, even more than he was able to in our short time here tonight. So have a good night, folks, and we look forward to continuing to work with you.
Night.
Thank you. This was great. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.